A small, dilapidated bus stop shelter. The morning air is damp. A large, diverse group of individuals waits impatiently. Toad is fiddling aggressively with a massive, unwieldy shopping trolley they inexplicably brought with them. He is wearing a new, brightly colored nylon tracksuit and reflective sunglasses, the latest of his inexplicable fads. Godfrey, the gray horse, stands hunched, miserably watching traffic. Corky, the man with the corkscrew head, stares vacantly at a discarded crisp packet. Toad, to the trolley. Right, you magnificent steed. Today, we conquer the Isles. I've downloaded the new Sainsbury Scan app, which promises to revolutionize the retail experience. No queues, no human interaction. Pure, unadulterated efficiency. Godfrey, Yorkshire accent, deeply cynical. And I'm royalty. We're going to Sainsbury's. Toad, not storming the high walls of Troy. And that trolley's going to take up half the pavement. Thanos, Dawdle, the yellowish donkey, trots over, holding a laminated list. Dawdle, organization. People, organization. I've color-coded the list by aisle efficiency. Bill, you handle dairy. Pat, you take household, but please try not to get distracted by local gossip. Pat Clifton, adjusting his collar. I assure you, Dawdle, postmen are masters of logistics and discretion. Though I do hear Mrs. Goggins has concerns about the new sorting system. Dick Spanner PI, standing stiffly, raincoat collar up, metallic voice, Chandler-esque. Discretion is a pearl reserved for those who understand the shadow line between what is seen and what is true. We are going to a brightly lit supermarket. Shadows are few, and the truth is usually marked £1.50. Reduced to clear. Super Ted, flying in gently, red and yellow suit sparkling. Now, Dick. We're just getting supplies. It's important we stay calm and collected. I volunteered to fetch the things high up. Naturally. Spuds McKenzie, in his trench coat and Hawaiian shirt, lounges against the shelter, trying, and failing, to look cool. Joe Camel leans next to him, effortlessly smooth, smoking a cigarette through a filter. Spuds McKenzie, Rick male voice, sneering. Supplies? This ain't Nam, Teddy boy. This is a mission for flavor. Me and Joe are on the acquisition team for premium snacks and, ideally, some prime female companionship. Joe Camel, Geordie accent, exhaling smoke artfully. Smooth like a freshly oiled piston. Us too. Watch and learn. Spuds. It's all in the confidence. We'll be halfway up aisle 5 before the competition even realizes they've been outcharmed. Kathy, standing barefoot, looking unimpressed. 1980s cool. You two should focus on finding a matching pair of brain cells before you worry about charm. Constance flaps her feathered hair. Oh, are we having a race? I love races. Are we racing for discounted shampoo? Carmel Bunny, West Country accent, alluringly calm. Don't fret, love. We'll just glide through the aisles. Maybe find some nice organic carrots for moi. Daniel Nate watches the whole group with a weary sigh, resting his chin on his hand. Daniel Nate, to himself, quietly, a supermarket run. This is my life now. I should be feeding my daughter toast, not standing next to a talking skeleton and an arm to the gills gummy bear. How do I even get back to the 2020s from here? Trip, the skeleton, Glaswegian accent. Oi, Daniel, stop moaning. I need help navigating the cheese aisle. Last time, I accidentally bought mature cheddar instead of extra mature. The shame was palpable. Man. The bus arrives, a battered double-decker. The group piles on. Corky having to gently lift the trolley onto the platform, tearing a seat in the process. Sfrandkaz, the barbarian gummy bear, looks utterly bewildered by the mechanism of the doors. Sfrandkaz, Russian accent, deep rumble. This metal box moves without horsepower. Sorcery, a trap of the soft lands. The residents are scattered. Sam Payton, the Welsh firefighter, is expertly navigating the shelves, while Bill Clutterbuck calmly checks his list. Sam Payton, slyly, right, Bill, tins. You know, for a man who used to stare into the vast, lonely ocean, you seem awfully comfortable surrounded by processed food. Bill Clutterbuck, voice of reason, calm. The sea is predictable, Sam. The prices in 21st century retail are volatile. Look at this. 3 tins of chopped tomatoes for £1. It's an economic miracle. Or perhaps a trap. Nearby, Spuds and Joe stalk Kathy and Constance, who are examining skincare products. Spuds Mackenzie, whispering loudly to Joe, right. Operation. Smooth talk. I'm going in with a deeply ironic compliment about her lack of footwear. Joe Camel, no. You use the classic. Excuse me, are you related to the supermodel who just walked past works every time? Spuds approaches Kathy with a ridiculous swagger. Spuds Mackenzie, oh, darling, you know, you're missing something vital. Kathy, without looking up, deadpan, my compassion for men who wear synthetic fibers? Spuds Mackenzie, no, your shoes. Bit of glass on the floor. In it? Don't worry, I'll sweep you off your feet. Kathy, I am perfectly capable of walking. Thank you. And I can assure you, the only thing you'll be sweeping is hair out of your trench coat. Constance, to Spuds. Sorry, slightly confused. Oh, are you running a cleaning service? I'm looking for a good feather duster. Do you have one of those large, fluffy ones? Joe sighs, pulling Spuds away. Joe Camel, amateur hour. Spuds, stick to the hustling. Leave the ladies to the professionals. The group converges near the self-checkout area. Toad is having a violent argument with the machine. Toad, shouting at the electronic voice. I have removed the item from the bagging area. You electronic Luddite. I demand to speak to your supervisor. Sainsbury's voice. Unexpected item in the bagging area. Toad, that is my brand new, limited edition, commemorative Sainsbury's reusable tote bag. It is expected. Barney, the sheepdog, is trying to impress a nearby employee by performing a series of ill-judged stunts juggling 4 tins of tuna while balancing on one back leg. Barney, panting heavily. See, fame awaits. I just need to perfect the finale. He tries to add a jar of mustard to the mix. It slips, causing all 5 items to fly into the air. Godfrey, standing nearby, is coated in tuna juice and mustard. Godfrey, bloody hell. I knew this trip would end badly. I smell like a damp sandwich. Pat Clifton, rushing forward. Oh dear, Barney, let me help. I have a spare high-vis vest in my bag. Perfect for emergency spillages. As Pat tries to mop the floor, Trip glides past on his skateboard, unaware, scattering the mustard jar remains. Suddenly, a short, sweating man in a cheap suit labeled Mr. Perkins, store manager, emerges from behind the kiosk, flanked by 2 bored-looking security guards. Perkins points a shaky finger at the Rye residents. Mr. Perkins, that's them. The whole lot. Secure the exits. Dawdle, secure the, Mr. Perkins. We are paying customers. We have a meticulously organized list. Mr. Perkins, trembling, meticulous thievery. The system has flagged a major discrepancy. You, so he points at Spuds. You put a packet of proprietary Sainsbury's loyalty card sleeves in your pocket. And you, to Sfrandkaz, you tried to eat the plastic divider at the deli counter. Sfrandkaz looks confused. Sfrandkaz, it looked like very large, white jerky, is powerful protein for barbarian. Bill Clutterbuck, loyalty card sleeves, that's what this is about? Mr. Perkins, silence. We have monitored your suspicious behavior for 20 minutes. The excessive clothing, the camel constantly smoking indoors, the gummy bear, all of you, into the office, now, or I call the Metropolitan Constabulary. The security guards start herding the bewildered residents toward a back door marked staff only. 20-odd individuals are crammed into a small, beige office. The air is thick with tension and the smell of tuna mustard. Mr. Perkins sits behind his desk, nervously clutching a stapler. Dick Spanner PI. This room is a perfect cube of existential dread. The cheap veneer desk. The calendar still stuck on Tuesday. The walls are closing in, but the real prison is always the mind. Or in this case, the accusation of petty theft. Daniel Nate, massaging his temples. Look, we're happy to pay for the loyalty card sleeves. Just let us check out. This is insane. I need to get back to the Three Gables for my shift. Mr. Perkins, sweating, adjusting his tie. Insane? You tried to steal intellectual property. Those sleeves are proprietary. We will have to check every single bag. And those pockets. Nat. Cockney accent. Loud. Aggressive. Oh. Come on. You melt. Loyalty card sleeves? I wouldn't nick them if they were dipped in gold. Me and the missus. He nods towards Constance. Just want our artisan bread and to get back to Liston into the Clash. Constance. Ditzily. Yeah. The Clash. They're so clangy. Sam Payton. Calmly. Stepping forward. Now, Mr. Perkins. Let's brief, shall we? I'm firefighter Sam. I deal with high stress situations daily. This isn't one of them. We're going to empty our pockets. You're going to apologize for the inconvenience. And we'll be on our merry way. Deal? Mr. Perkins shakes his head violently. Mr. Perkins. No deal. I'm in charge here. You will be processed. Toad. Processed? Excellent. I saw a documentary about processing plants once. Does this involve conveyor belts? And perhaps an interview with a national newspaper? I could leverage this into a new line of Toad branded anti-theft clothing. Barney, struggling to stand on two legs, trying to look authoritative. Hold the phone. Toad, I'm the one who should be leveraging this. Brave sheepdog uncovers retail conspiracy. Picture the headlines. Corky, gentle, deep voice. Mr. Perkins. Please. My head. It can get dizzy when I'm still for too long. Can we not sort this out? I just want my denim dungaree repair kit. Mr. Perkins. Silence. You. He looks at Dick Spanner. You robot. Empty your circuitry. Dick Spanner PI. My circuits contain only oil, grit, and the cold hard facts of life. Perkins. Nothing you could put a price tag on. Perkins reaches for the phone. Mr. Perkins. I am calling the police. You are all under citizens. Crash. The flimsy office door is kicked inwards with tremendous force, ripping half the frame off the wall. Everyone freezes. A man, tall, lean, and wired, stands silhouetted in the doorway. He wears a faded hoodie pulled low and holds a sawed-off shotgun. He looks feral and terrified. This is Vinny. Vinny, nobody move. This is a robbery, and I ain't here for the reduced price sandwiches. The occupants of the room stare, then burst into a chorus of confused complaints. Dawdle, oh, honestly, are we going to be late for the bus now? Godfrey, what did I tell you? Today was cursed from the first step. Toad, excitedly, a genuine hold-up. What drama, Dick? Is this the kind of action you PIs usually encounter? Dick Spanner PI, calmly observing Vinny. Sometimes the biggest danger isn't the gun, kid. It's the cheap desperation in the eyes. This ain't his first rodeo, but it might be his last. Mr. Perkins lets out a high-pitched, feminine squeal and dives under the desk. Mr. Perkins, don't shoot. Take the money. The loyalty card sleeves. Take anything. Vinny, eyes scanning the room, ignoring Perkins. Shut up. I told you. I ain't after the float. I'm after two specific pieces of filth. Where are Spuds MacKenzie and Joe Camel? Spuds and Joe immediately try to blend into the crowd, attempting to hide behind Carmel Bunny, who is unfazed, and Corky, who is too large. Spuds MacKenzie, muttering, oh, crumbs. Vinny, it's bloody Vinny. Joe Camel, scoffing, well, look at that. Vinny's gone proper legit, hasn't he? Got himself a new uniform and a nasty attitude. Vinny spots them. His eyes narrow dangerously. Vinny, there you are, you two-bit hustlers. Still wearing that tragic coat. Spuds, and Joe, still smoking those cancer sticks. Get over here, both of you. Against the wall. Spuds steps forward, trying to charm his way out. Spuds MacKenzie, Vinny, my dear boy, long time no see. Looking well. New barber? That hoodie really brings out the menacing desperation in your eyes. Love. Vinny, shaking the shotgun. Don't you dare boy me. You remember that 5K I lent you? The one you swore was for a killer investment in Rise Premier Gourmet hot dog stand? Joe Camel. It was a sound venture, Vin. Just, you know, the structural integrity of the cart was questionable. Vinny, it was a wooden box painted yellow. And you two disappeared with my money. I've been chasing you for 6 months. I lost my flat. I lost my dog. I had to take a job sorting bins. All because of the Rye Rollers gourmet sausage scam. Spuds MacKenzie. Scam is such a harsh word. Vinny, we prefer the term fluid capital reallocation. Vinny, it was theft. And now, I want my money. The whole 5 grand. Plus interest for my emotional distress. Which I calculate at roughly another 5 grand. £10,000. Get it? Daniel Nate, stepping back. speaking quietly to Sam. A £10,000 debt over a gourmet hot dog stand. This is peak Rye. Sam Payton. To Daniel. Subtly. You have to admit, it's a bit more interesting than rescuing a cat from a tree. Carmel Bunny. Calmly. Lounging against the wall. Poor lad. All this fuss over a bit of pocket change. Why don't we just pass around a hat? Vinny. Slamming the butt of the gun on the desk. No hats. I want it from them. They've got it. They always have some stupid stash from the last job. Tell me where it is. Joe Camel. We don't have it, son. It's tied up in offshore accounts. Very complex structure. You wouldn't understand. Vinny. To the other hostages. Right. Until these two cough up the dough, you lot are staying right here. Anyone tries anything, you know what happens. Super Ted raises a small hand. Super Ted. Excuse me, sir, isn't that gun a little dangerous in such a small space? You might accidentally damage the structural integrity of this retail establishment. Vinny. Staring at the flying bear. What in God's name are you? Super Ted. I'm a friend. And I'm trained in conflict resolution. If you just put the weapon down, perhaps we can get you a nice cup of tea and discuss your housing situation. Vinny. Laughs. A rough, hysterical sound. A talking teddy bear wants to offer me tea. This is what despair looks like. Nat. The punk ogre. Smirks. Nat. Nah, mate. Despair is listening to bloody Coldplay. This is just a poor git having a bad day. The situation has settled into an uneasy standoff. Vinny paces nervously, shotgun pointed vaguely at the group. Daniel Nate leans against a filing cabinet, watching the chaos unfold. Daniel Nate, to himself. Internal monologue. I'm a bartender. I run shifts. I polish glasses. Before I paid my mortgage. And I changed nappies. Now I'm trapped in a hostage situation in a Sainsbury's office with a skeleton, a horse who smells of tuna, and an armed robber who sounds like he needs a hug. If this is purgatory, it's got surprisingly good retail choices. I just need to remember what my world feels like. The cool tile of the kitchen floor. The weight of Alice in my arms. That's home. Not this terrible, endless joke. I need a way out. But more importantly, I need a way back. Vinny. Stopping his pacing. Jabbing the gun towards Spuds. Right. No more games. Where's the money you skimmed off that fake lottery scratch card job last autumn? I know you had a windfall. Spuds McKenzie. Defensive. That wasn't skimming. Vinny. That was administrative fees. It takes time and effort to print 200,000 convincing, yet entirely worthless scratch cards. Joe Camel. And the paper wasn't free. You know. Gotta pay the suppliers. Vinny. Suppliers? You paid a bloke named Shifty Dave a tenner to steal paper from a local school. Bill Clutterbuck. Quietly. To Pat. It's fascinating how quickly these two can turn any legitimate enterprise into organized crime. Pat Clifton. Indeed. Though, organizing this many people just to get milk and bread is quite a feat in itself. Dawdle. Interrupting the confrontation. Excuse me, Vinny, while we wait for their offshore funds to clear, could we perhaps at least open a window? It's getting quite stuffy, and Godfrey is still faintly tuna scented. Godfrey. It's the worst day of my life. Dawdle. I wish I was back in the stable, depressed, where I belong. Vinny. Yelling. No windows. Nobody moves. You two. Tell me where the briefcase is, or I start making things messy. Dick Spanner PI. Briefcases. They always come down to a briefcase. A classic trope. Usually filled with cash, diamonds, or maybe just some stale sandwiches. Tell me, Vinny, what's inside your ideal briefcase? Vinny. My ideal briefcase would have silence, and about 10 grand. Kathy. Scoffs. Please. If you were serious about 10 grand, you wouldn't be robbing a supermarket on a Tuesday afternoon. Carmel Bunny. You'd be in Monaco, love, sipping something fruity. Toad, who has been quietly trying to use his Sainsbury's scan app despite the crisis, suddenly lets out a triumphant cry. Toad. Eureka. I've found the Wi-Fi booster in the office. Now my checkout should proceed smoothly. He holds up his phone triumphantly. Vinny snaps. Vinny. Put that bloody thing down. No phones. Toad. But I'm completing my transaction. I must finalize this purchase of artisanal hummus. Rules are rules, even in a hostage situation. Toad, in his frantic attempt to scan a barcode on his own hand, another new fad, stumbles backwards, tripping over Barney, who is still trying to get a perfect angle for a selfie with the gun. Toad crashes violently into a large, cheap white refrigerator in the corner, which contains the staff's lunch and milk. The fridge tips. Corky, watch out. Corky instinctively leaps forward, demonstrating his immense strength by catching the tipping fridge midair. Vinny, hey, you big freak, drop that. Corky, straining, but, the milk, it will spill. In the confusion, Super Ted sees his chance. Super Ted, now's my moment. He rips open his clothes to reveal his red and yellow suit. Energy sparks around him. Super Ted, Spotty, Wingy, zap. Super Ted zaps himself with cosmic dust. Instead of becoming ultra strong, the tiny office space results in a power surge. The lights flicker violently, and the fridge Corky is holding emits a massive electrical blue flash. The sudden flash blinds Vinny just as he aims the gun. Vinny, ag, my eyes. The gunshot goes off. Ballum, hitting the ceiling and showering everyone with pulverized ceiling tile and cheap insulation dust. Total pandemonium. Vinny is momentarily disoriented, rubbing his eyes. Corky manages to set the fridge down, breathing heavily. Sam Payton, the professional, instantly assesses the situation. Sam Payton, Daniel, cover, trip, use that skateboard, trip. The skeleton immediately grabs his board and slides across the mustard-stained floor, sweeping his board underneath Vinny's legs. Trip, down you go, you wee menace. Vinny stumbles, dropping the shotgun, which slides under Mr. Perkins' desk. Perkins yelps. Joe Camel, seeing the weapon gone, decides now is the time for a confession, figuring they'll all be arrested anyway. Joe Camel, alright, Vinny, alright, we don't have the $5,000, or the $10,000 with the interest, but there was one last job, the big one, the rye job. Spuds MacKenzie, horrified. Joe, you absolute clotpole, shut up. Vinny, scrambling for the gun, the rye job, what are you talking about? Joe Camel, we managed to swipe the prototype for the new, self-heating, luxury dog food from the docks. Only it turned out the heating element was unstable, and the inventor, Dr. Fennick, offered us $1,000 each to never speak of it again. That's the money we used to pay off the hot dog debt. Vinny, stopping his search, luxury dog food? You risked prison for tins of pedigree chum that might explode? Spuds MacKenzie, they were gourmet tins. Vinny, free-range chicken flavor, and we only spent the money because we needed a clean slate. Vinny, so you have nothing? Nothing at all? He looks utterly defeated. The fight has gone out of him, replaced by genuine, sad despair. Dick Spanner PI. The dark alley of deceit always leads to an empty pocket. Vinny, but the real crime isn't the dog food. It's wasting the last 6 months of your life chasing two buffoons. Perkins, still under the desk, blindly grabs the shotgun. Mr. Perkins, I have the weapon. I am calling the police. Everyone stay where you are. He pokes the barrel of the gun out from under the desk, pointing it erratically. The residents stare, now hostages to the store manager. Mr. Perkins, voice muffled by the desk, don't you dare laugh. I'm serious. I've had it. Shoplifters, armed robbers, tuna everywhere. I quit. But before I quit, you will all pay for the damages. Every single tin of tuna. Bill Clutterbuck. Mr. Perkins, you don't want to do this. That weapon is unstable. Mr. Perkins, I'm going to make sure none of you ever set foot in a Sainsbury's again. Vinny stares at Perkins with sudden respect. Vinny, wait a minute. You actually look like you mean it, mate. You've got fire. Carmel Bunny, sultry. He's found his inner warrior, hasn't he? Very fetching. Godfrey, I just want to go home and wash the fish juice off my mane. Daniel Nate, stepping into the line of sight, speaking calmly. Perkins, look at me. I know what it feels like to be stuck. To feel like you don't belong in the current moment. I'm stuck here, far away from my life. But pointing a gun at a group of well-meaning, if extremely chaotic, individuals isn't the way to get control back. Mr. Perkins, control? I haven't had control since the new self-checkout kiosks arrived. They judge me. Spuds MacKenzie, tell you what, Perkins, me and Joe will pay for those loyalty card sleeves. If you put the gun down, and promise to give Vinny here a job. He needs a fresh start. Vinny, I don't want a job in a supermarket. Joe Camel, you need structure. Vinny, and maybe a decent shirt. Vinny, I need 10 grand. Dick Spanner PI, money is just paper with promises written on it. Friendship, however, is priceless. Though in the case of Joe and Spuds, it usually comes with a hefty insurance premium. Mr. Perkins, waving the gun barrel wildly. No deals. No jobs. Total reimbursement for the incident. And I want that talking horse to apologize to the tuner. Godfrey, offended. I am not apologizing to the tuner. The tuner offended me. Dawdle, who has been quietly trying to calculate the total list of items needed and the potential cost of reparations, speaks up firmly. Dawdle, right. This is illogical. We need a clear, decisive action plan. Corky, you are our muscle. Super Ted, you are our distraction. Nat, loud noises. Nat, loud noises? I can do that. He pulls out a tiny, battered portable stereo from his leather trousers. Oi, Perkins, listen to this. Nat blasts an incredibly distorted, feedback-heavy punk track by the Dead Kennedys. The volume is deafening in the small office. Mr. Perkins, my ears. Turn IT off. Perkins flinches, dropping the gun momentarily. Corky, seizing the moment, steps forward and uses his corkscrew head not to attack, but to gently, quickly, unscrew the office doorknob. Corky, door handle compromised. Sam Payton, excellent work, lad. In the chaos, Sfrandkaz, still confused about the modern world, sees the fallen gun and assumes it is a sophisticated, loud, self-dispensing food tool. Sfrandkaz, his glorious weapon of soft lands. Sfrandkaz uses for hunting. Sfrandkaz grabs the shotgun and, using his immense barbarian strength, attempts to shoulder the weapon. Due to his size and lack of finesse, he accidentally smashes the entire front of the desk with the butt of the gun. Perkins is momentarily freed from his hiding spot. Mr. Perkins, no, my pension. Vinny, seeing a chance to redeem himself, shouts commands at the gummy bear. Vinny, no, mate. That end points away from the face. Away. Sfrandkaz, what is face? Super Ted flies forward, grabbing the gun gently from Sfrandkaz's massive hand, and depositing it safely on top of a cabinet. Super Ted, conflict resolved. Perkins, now weaponless and deskless, simply dissolves into tears. Mr. Perkins, everything is ruined. The manager's special on sausage rolls. My career. Vinny, calm down, mate. It's just a job. Look at me. I tried to rob a supermarket to cover a debt from fake hot dogs. You're doing fine. Joe and Spuds approach Vinny. Joe Camel, look, Vin. We're sorry. Not about the scam, because that was genius. But sorry that you had to suffer. Tell you what, we'll cut you in on the next one. Genuine, actual diamonds. Just need a small investment now. Vinny holds up a trembling hand. Vinny, don't. Just, don't. I'm out. You two are poison. I'm taking my chances with the police and probably prison. At least there's 3 square meals and no talking teddy bears. Daniel Nate, to Vinny, hey, if you're serious about needing a clean break, come to the Three Gables. I'll make sure you get a meal. Vinny looks at Daniel, confused, then nods slowly. Vinny, yeah, thanks. Sirens wail outside. The police have arrived. The residents are outside, standing next to the ambulance and police cars. Vinny is being led away in handcuffs, still looking shell-shocked. Mr. Perkins is wrapped in a silver shock blanket, muttering about loyalty card sleeves. A police inspector approaches the Rye group, looking utterly exhausted. Inspector, right. Let me get this straight. You were wrongly accused of stealing packaging, held hostage by a man trying to recover money from a defunct gourmet dog food scam, and then the hostage taker was disarmed by a giant gummy bear, a robot, and a bear in a Onishi. Dawdle, tidying her list. That is broadly accurate. Yes. Though Super Ted's outfit is technically a superhero suit, not a Onishi. Inspector, and the store manager became a counter hostage taker? Pat Clifton. Yes. But mercifully, he lacked the proper training. Dick Spanner PI. The manager was simply another victim of the neon-lit pressure cooker of modern life. Inspector. A symptom of a decaying society built on credit and cut-price convenience. Inspector, rubbing his temples. I don't care. Here. He hands Daniel a form. Sainsbury's management has issued a lifetime ban for all occupants of the Rye residence and their associated animal companions, real or synthetic, effective immediately. Barney, a ban? But I was central to the drama. This is great publicity. Godfrey, we're banned from Sainsbury's. Of course we are. I'm never leaving Rye again. I'll starve first. Trip. So, where are we getting our extra mature cheddar now, lads? Tesco? Toad. Nonsense. I shall purchase a bulk order of artisanal hummus using my Amazon Prime account. The age of physical shopping is over. We must embrace the singularity. Spuds MacKenzie, patting Joe on the shoulder. Well, Joe, another successful, financially crippling adventure. We survived a supermarket. What's next? Joe Camel, lighting a fresh cigarette. Let's get Daniel to pour us a pint at the Three Gables. And we should probably apologize to Vinny's mum. She was quite fond of us, before we ruined her son's life. Carmel Bunny, smiling lazily. Sounds like a plan. Boys, I hear the pub has lovely lighting. Daniel is behind the bar, polishing glasses. Joe and Spuds are nursing pints, looking unusually subdued. Daniel Nate. So, 2 life lessons from today, gentlemen. 1. Don't mess with store managers. 2. Don't finance your scams with loans from desperate men. Spuds MacKenzie. Desperate men make the best lenders. Danny Boy. They don't ask awkward questions. Until they do. With a shotgun. Joe Camel. Vinny will be fine. He's got conviction now. He just needs a solid mentor. Perhaps we should send him a nice letter in prison. Daniel Nate. Do me a favor and don't mention anything about self-heating dog food. Daniel sighs, running a hand through his hair. He stares blankly for a moment, the cheerful noise of the pub fading slightly. Daniel Nate. Internal monologue. Another day survived. Another moment where the madness of Rye eclipses the reality of the coma. But Vinny was right about one thing. Despair. Being stuck in this eternal place. Knowing my real life is just on pause. Sometimes I think I'd trade all the cosmic dust and talking horses for 5 minutes back in that Sainsbury's office. As long as it was the one back home. He snaps back to attention as Bill Clutterbuck approaches the bar. Bill Clutterbuck. Daniel. A single malt. Please. Never thought I'd say this, but I miss the quiet solitude of the lighthouse. At least the waves don't try to sell you discounted hummus. Daniel Nate. Coming right up. Bill. At least we know where not to go for the big shop next time. Bill Clutterbuck. Indeed. I hear the Waitrose in Rye is quite nice. A gentlemanly kind of ban. Daniel pours the whiskey, a small, genuine smile forming despite the lingering weirdness of his existence. Life in Rye was chaotic, exhausting, and utterly ridiculous. But for now, it was his life.